All right, guys, we got Cavs Pistons game one, Lakers Thunder game one. Let's just dive in. So, I'm calling out Harden for the title and thumbnail, but there were a few things that went wrong for the Cavs today, and also there are some optimistic spins on this game for Cleveland as well, right? Including for Harden. He had a much better fourth. It was very bad before that, and I think that's still the big story. But let's start with Harden. The thing that I was wondering going into this was how exactly is Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart, but more so Duren, going to guard Harden screen actions? And they were mostly just high up on screens. And they pressured him. They didn't make it easy for him to get a runway. You'd have Asar or Levert or Cade or whoever pressuring him on some of these screens. And then it was just either he would take a little too long to get the ball out, or he is getting the ball out and no real advantage has been created, and the Pistons are swarming around that, where like maybe Max Strus is driving, but Stu gets back to the paint and contests him, or Asar does a hell of a job of pressuring Mobley after he catches it, so he's got nowhere to go. Or one where Duren and Asar were the two pressuring Harden, and he just picked the ball up and he's searching around, what do I do with it? And then it was just different versions of that type of play. Or he just lost the ball randomly just in the flow of the game as well. He had 7 turnovers tonight. I mean, 22, 8, and 7 by the end of the game, but the efficiency was not good. The turnovers weren't good. I will say with Harden, he did have more success late in the game in the fourth when he was just going at Duncan Robinson and getting into the floater. It felt like Mitchell had a little bit of success as well, going at Duncan in the fourth there as well. As the series goes on, perhaps they just lean into that a lot. But yeah, the turnovers for Harden, it wasn't just that it was 7 turnovers. It was also each one of them was in such a bad moment where it felt like the Cavs were building up momentum. Like in the second half, when Allen got back in the game, which that's another conversation we'll get to in a second, his minutes and Kenny Atkinson's whole thing with that. But there was a little run there of Mobley and Allen in at the same time, and you'd see a couple possessions where Cade is just surrounded by those two at the rim, or Asar under the rim, and he's looking around because the shot isn't open. I think Duren also had a miss where he was trying to score through those two in this little stretch, so they had some momentum going, and then it would just be like random Harden turnover. I think that one specifically I'm thinking about was just versus Duncan Robinson in a 1v1. Like, you just can't turn it over there, man. But as I say that, once Harden exited the game late third, like Max Strus came in there and was either making ghost screen threes or just attacking off the catch. They get back in it, and then again we had the going at Duncan with Donovan and Harden. But by that point, it was already a bit of an uphill climb, and then you just had a couple of good defensive execution possessions of like Duren blocking Harden at the rim, or Duren and I think it was Tobias swarming Mitchell on a drive. And there may have been a skip pass open to Dean Wade. He also missed a 3 like in the third quarter where it was the 2 to the ball on Harden, and that was one of the times the Cavs got a good shot out of it. Anyway, let's go to Donovan Mitchell. I was very whelmed by Mitchell's game. 22 on cool efficiency, 35 minutes is just not enough by Kenny Atkinson for Mitchell in this game. It just felt like a regular season Donovan Mitchell game where he got to his numbers, and I guess I can't say he was bad, but the feeling that I had watching it was he could just be putting more pressure possession to possession on this Pistons defense, and the only time I really felt that was again in the Duncan Robinson mismatch hunting. And then we have to go to Jarrett Allen's 18 minutes where, look, I think at some point you just got to play the guy, and if he fouls out, he fouls out. Like him getting those 3 fouls early on or whatever it was, yeah, that's not good. And we know that there's just sometimes this push and pull of like how much do we want Mobley and Allen on the floor together and all that stuff, and if Atkinson's just in one of his moods of I just want one big guy on the floor, that's going to cause the minutes to slip some. But even so, at a certain point, he's just got to play more, and if he fouls out, he fouls out. I mean, if anything, it just gets you less Thomas Bryant minutes. So we'll see there. And also, should be said, yes, the 3 Duren dunks, which were all created by Cade ISOing somebody at the top of the key. I believe all of those were with either Allen or Mobley in the game, but not both of them. To be clear, I'm just some dude. He could go to more Mobley and Allen minutes in the next one, and then they lose those minutes. I don't know. But I will just remember that early third quarter stretch of like, ooh, it feels like the Pistons are overwhelmed by what's happening around the basket right now. Anyway, for all that, the positive spin for the Cavs. Cade and Duren did their stuff late, but they did not shoot well. Duncan, at least a couple of his threes felt like just random flow of the game, balls deflected. Oh crap, Duncan Robinson's now wide open for 3. They also did lose him on a couple of screens, don't get me wrong. And they did find some success late, again, with putting Duncan in some actions, although the Pistons guarded it better as it kept happening, but they were in position to steal this. And when I think about Cade's misses in this one, it just felt like a lot of those grind possessions around the mid-range where he's just having basically a wrestling match with like Dean Wade or Jalen Tyson to get up like a 14-footer. There were a couple of misses for him at the rim versus Allen or Mobley. And also there were 2 miracle like end of quarter heaves by Holland and Javonte Green. So, okay, there were some spins on it for the Cavs, but they're down 1-0. And now we go to Lakers OKC game 1. I don't know, man. Austin's going to have to be awesome. And seeing him just try to wiggle his way through whatever seams are there, or at least appear to be there in the OKC defense. I mean, Kaysen blocked him on a pull-up. You had Caruso all over him as he picked the ball up. Chet blocks him, just dropping back on a screen. I thought he was going to get blocked on the one that was a floater where it was like Harden all over him, but Chet was right there too. Kaysen was behind him. There is no easy place anywhere against this defense for Austin, or for anybody. But, I mean, LeBron, he's not going to be physically overwhelmed by anybody. And along the way, I mean, look, LeBron can get into passing lanes after Marcus pressures SGA, or they can kind of collapse on SGA's drive, and the timing can be good enough to where he'll second guess it and make a pass that he really shouldn't make when he's already in the air. But if Austin is not going to have it, then, hey, LeBron, listen, he scored through like Caruso or Kaysen or Ihart on various plays here. Like, he's ready for this. If there's any takeaway for OKC in this game, it's just when Chet is making his jumper or is cutting at the right time, relocating to the right spots, whatever, as teams have to help off of him, then they can just be really tough to guard, besides helping off of the obvious guys. But, I mean, Lou Dort had a wide open 3 in this one. That was a moment where I think it was like a 7-point game. Those always feel bad. Or I think it was like Marcus and Ayton were running a screen action, pocket pass. Caruso comes out of nowhere for a breakaway, and it's just tough to minimize those types of plays versus OKC. They're pretty much always going to happen. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say here. We'll just see if Austin is better in the next one. Anyway, guys, that's it for me on this one.